So the truth is, I wrote this thing for Drake and I to be in that's not a reboot, but it's for the chance for Drake and I to work together again. And I think we are gonna make it with this really cool company, and I wish I could say more, but the truth is, Drake and I are very much excited about working together again. So that's coming soon.
My name's Casey.
Hi, Casey.
So I kind of have like a funny story to like lead into my question, if that's okay.
Good, I love humor.
So the reason my mom let me watch Drove a Taylor when I was like 9 was because you were acting in it, and I was like, oh, he's from Drake and Josh, like it's fine. And she was like, okay. And then she watched it and she was like kind of mad.
Really?
But yeah, she was a little bit mad.
What's your mom's name?
Kim.
Oh, that's such a mom name. I'd like to speak to the manager. Tell him it's Kim. I'm sure Kim would never do that.
She asked.
She's like, she did it at the Fridays. Sorry, Fowler. It's a pleasure. I'm not from here.
You're doing good.
My bad.
I also work at the study, so that's kind of funny that you also mentioned that. So it's funny. But my question was, what's your favorite movie you've been in?
Oh man, I mean, obviously Drake and Josh Go Hollywood. No, I don't know, like I did this movie, The Whackness, that I'm pretty proud of. That's dope, with Method Man and like Mary-Kate Olsen, who I asked out on a date and she said no. That's okay, what do I have to offer her, guys? Think about it. When she did, she kind of like was really lovely. She couldn't have been nicer, like really lovely. It was like, cool, I'll get your number. And I was like, from who? But I like wanted to be like, you're, like when she was like, I don't think so, I wanted to be like, you're right. Like, this shouldn't happen. Thank you. I don't know what I was thinking. So yeah, thank you. Say hi to Kim. Okay. Yeah. Who's next? Oh, all right, over here. Hi.
Sarah.
Hi, Sierra.
My sister loves you, by the way. Her
You're
name's Sophia.
Sophia?
Yep.
Is she here?
No, but she's on the camera, but...
Is she FaceTiming?
She's
What's happening? Can I talk to Sophia now? Is she watching?
Yeah.
Okay, that's called bootlegging. No, I'm kidding. Where is she? Can someone hold the camera?
Yeah, she's right there in the camera.
Sophia! Hi, Sophia. You better be nice to your sister for a long time. This is a moment. This is your life. Screenshot us. Still holding. Okay, got it better.
I had a quick question. So, how did you meet David and become, I guess, a part of the Vaughn Squad?
Yeah. I think it's kind of public, but the great conduit to my life of the Vlog Squad and David and YouTube is good old Jason Nash. I love when Jason gets some screams. Jason and I was just a big fan of Jason's, and we had met a few times when we were both on Vine, but we never had like connected. And if he tells you that's right, he would say I wouldn't call him back. That's only true. And no, but then I remember one night he like FaceTimed me, and I called him back, and he was like, yo, I've been shooting with this kid David, and his vlogs are really good, and he can't believe that I was once an extra or like had a couple lines on Drake and Josh. Like, would you be down to come hang out one day and mess around? And I was like, yeah, I'd love to. So literally the next day, I go to David's apartment, and we're shooting, and all I can say is like at its base level, it was just sort of like pure creativity, and like if you love acting, that's what it was, because it was like the three of us coming up with a bit, David like directing, no lights, no trailers, none of the fancy shit, just really like at its sort of truest form. It was just improvisational humor, and I remember finishing it and thinking, oh, I want to do more of this. And so 2 years later, it's been a honeymoon. I'm like man and Jason. We over here. And he's just like a dude. And I remember like, and And so like the day I went to ask him, like the house was empty and he's like in his garage and I like walked in and we're surrounded by tools and it's very masculine. I was like, what's that, a belt sander? Oh my God, look at that saw. And so I get him there and I was like, hey, I wanted to ask you something. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, your voice is so low. I was like, I wanted to ask your permission to marry Paige. And he was like, oh. Oh. Well, you know what? If you love her and she loves you, I think that's great. And I was like, bet. And then, like a couple more seconds went by, and I was like, how are you? I was like, yo, I don't think we can do small talk, and it sounds cooler than it is, but basically I was going to Paris for work, and I was taking Paige, and I just figured that like we had been dating for a while, and everyone was kind of like in her ear a little bit, like, Paris is pretty romantic. Might be coming home with a new carry-on. Who talks like that? I think I would get home if my wife saw this. So what are you asking about vlogging?
Yeah, like how you do it.
I mean, it sounds like you live a pretty friggin' cool life.
I mean, it's kind of scary, man.
Why'd you go to jail?
I'll be honest, Alex, I'm scared now. But it's not like you're spending all your weekends like at the, Bennigan's in Clearwater. Like, you're living. Sorry, I don't mean to hate on Bennigan's and/or Clearwater. I'm just saying, like, you get out and you live. So I'm not quite sure. I would say, like, allow the moment to speak for itself. Here's, like, the sort of advice I try to give anyone, and I try to take myself. It's like, be more yourself, man. It's like, there's such a pressure, especially when you're vlogging and whatnot, to, like, put on an act or kind of, like, be the people like, I want to be Casey Neistat, or I want to be David, or Liza, or whomever like you look up to. And you're who?
No, Alex, I'm not going to be someone else. Like,
Yeah.
I want to be myself.
Alex, that sounds incredible. And I remember, it was like her birthday, and she had a beautiful spread of like this rice dish, and like rosé, and cornbread, and she's like, it's my birthday! I'm having an extra piece of cornbread because it's my birthday! And I was like, you eat as much cornbread as you want. You inspire the world. I came from sort of the traditional place of TV and movies, and which has been dope, but like, inevitably you make these things and you have to either like, get the right part or pray that it turns out well, and sometimes it's dope and sometimes it's not. You have to wait like a year and a half for it to come out. Is there a baby crying? What? Am I hearing shit? I'm sleep deprived, y'all. I slept so hard on the plane. I was like, and we hit some incredible turbulence. I was like, I'm gonna sleep through my death. This is the way to do it. But yeah, so there's nothing better than when you're making a great piece of art with like great filmmakers and great actors, but that's not always the case, like you're constantly in between, and you also have to wait such a long time. So I remember the first time I did Vine, R.I.P. Listen every day. Vine 2, where you at? But and I remember making these silly videos, and I upload it, and all of a sudden, instantaneously, I see this reaction from you guys. And it meant a lot, I remember like my agent and manager called and we were like, yo, like, what is this? Like, we're trying to sell you as something more than like the goofy, Nickelodeon kid, and here you are being an idiot in your car. And I was like, honestly, I don't know what this is, but I know that being able to reach an audience and having their immediate feedback and to be able to do it on a regular basis is of value, and it's important.
Yeah, I'm an agent, and I act in like short films and commercials and everything, and I just wanted to know like what your advice is to actors, how to be vulnerable. Are you auditioning for your show or anything?
Am I auditioning for the new Drake and John?
Like, are you like holding like auditions and stuff? So I just want to know like what advice you have.
Can you give me a
on Ron. Who's Ron? What, are you studying acting here?
I'm a mass communications major here, but I go to acting class.
And what do you study there, like plays?
No, on-screen acting, auditioning.
But
yeah.
do you do like, what's the technique?
We learn a lot of on-camera style acting, like for auditions and stuff, and
Yeah.
it's more scene study, and a lot of improv. So I've studied a lot of improv and a lot of scene studies, and like minds and technique and stuff.
That's great.
Yeah.
I would say like for me, and I know I can only speak for myself, right? But especially like late teens, early 20s, you're in college and it's just like you're in such a rush just to begin life. And especially as an actor, right? Like we all start out doing these plays that are sometimes 100 years old and we're in these like little theater groups and we're like, no, I gotta be on fucking CSI Tampa. I gotta be on some dope shit. I gotta be on, you know, like Law and Order Fort Lauderdale. And trust me, that will all happen, but like what I would tell you is to really embrace this time in your life to try stuff and to get a great education when it comes to acting, because acting's like this weird thing. No one like can quite quantify what it is, but to me, or at least in my experience, all the actors I look up to have a great acting education.
Won't you stop the music, get into it, won't you dance with me? Downtown we let it go, sunset high and our bodies